Man, oh man. Sandhagen versus Figueiredo is basically a few days away. And I'm so freaking excited for this fight night because last one delivered. Now, before we get started, I would appreciate if you guys left a like and hit that sub button. I want to reach 500 subscribers by the end of the year. And now also, if you're looking for a fight night companion, I'm going to be streaming the entire card for this fight night. So don't miss it. So hit that sub, hit that bell on so you don't miss a notification when I go on. I will probably go like an hour later or maybe right when the fight card starts. So just be there. Now, I'm going to give you my full prediction starting off with Juliana Miller versus Ivana Petrović. Look, man, Juliana Miller is primarily a striker and she's bad at it. That's her best thing. And she's bad at it. Look, Juliana has bad pressure, and I wouldn't even call it pressure. I will call it she follows you. She just basically follows you. She's horrible in the pocket, gets countered very, very easily. Also, she loves to clinch opponents against the cage to do absolutely nothing with it. She did it against Veronica Hardy a few times, and she got countered and ended up in bottom position like 5 times. Very sloppy. But I do like one thing. She will make a fight fun to watch. You know, she just no matter what, she will keep going. She will always be coming forward. She will always be active. She will never just stop there and eat up the clock. You know what I mean? She will make this fight fun. I'll tell you that. But look, Ivana Petrović, decent on the feet. She's faster, cleaner than Juliana, better grappler, wrestler than Juliana. I can see Ivana getting her to the ground and just go tit for tat for 3 rounds, man, for a decision. But she's gonna have to like be careful with Juliana because she does have some decent armbar attempts, triangle attempts, and we saw Ivana was in trouble against Jamie Horth fight. She was in trouble with that armbar, I believe it was. So she's gonna need to be careful. But look, at the end of the day, Petrović all the way. I think this is gonna be a unanimous decision. The only way I see Miller winning if she gets like a arm bar, a triangle, which I don't think she is going to get. Well. Thomas Petersen versus Montel Mays. Look, Montel, my man cannot defend a takedown to save his life, brother. If you take down Montel, he will not get up. Just take him. Look, Thomas Petersen, all he has to do is just take him down once every single round, and he'll pretty much win this fight very, very easily. If you guys see the height advantage, the weight advantage, would you even call that an advantage? I don't think that's an advantage at this point. The reach advantage, leg reach advantage, which I don't think is. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude, this is too funny. But look, Thomas Petersen, he actually has good low kicks, good movement on the feet, throws a lot of body shots. He has good wrestling. But you gotta question the chin after the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Gaziev did a walk-off KO on him. But look, Thomas Petersen was actually piecing up Gaziev before he got that one-punch KO by the GOAT. You know, so. But look, I'm gonna be honest with you, Thomas Petersen, I think he's going to keep Montel at bay with his range. And he's just going to go for like cheeky takedowns, like 3 minutes left of the round. And Montel's just going to lay there, man. And I think that's just going to be a Thomas Petersen by decision. I can see Montel, hurting him. I could see that, but I don't think he's going to be playing around this fight. I don't think he is, and I think he's just going to play it safe. But yeah, Tom Petersen by decision. Moving on to Gaston Bolaños versus Quang Lee. Look, Gaston Bolaños, sharper kickboxer, or not sharper kickboxer, but he is a sharp kickboxer, good striking flow, gives up tons of takedowns though, in positions on the ground. Got out grappled in the Cortavias Romero fight, but he had bigger striking moments. Striking is good, but not that amazing. Can be stuck on their opponent's if taken down. He just stays there. Quang Lee, though, you know, he's solid on the stand-up arsenal, decent kickboxer, good left hook and takedown threat, high volume attacker, good pressure. He has he lost to Chris Gutierrez, which has aged very well, actually. You know, he's a better striker than Cortavious Romero. Can land takedowns and maintain top control. More well-rounded MMA fighter than Bolaños. Willing to ride out rounds from top position with control. You know, just better MMA experience overall. The conclusion for this fight is easy for me. I'm gonna pick Quang Lee to win by decision. Gaston Bolaños struggles too much on the ground. Moving on to Mariana Rodriguez versus Gillian Robertson. Why is it not loading? Okay, we're here. Look, Gillian Robertson, strong wrestler and grappler with like real submission threat. Improved game over the years. She's not even 29 years old, or 30, should I say, or is it 29? One of those two. Good takedowns and submission hunting. On a 3-fight win streak, Poliana Viana, Michelle Watterson, Luana Pinheiro. I don't know if I said that correctly. She's just been showing consistent improvements, and her confidence, it looks like, is growing decent enough to stand up to survive on the feet. I'm just saying, expect to land. She's gonna be landing some key takedowns and have some gain a lot of control time against Rodriguez on the mat. Mariana Rodriguez, look, she's skillful multi striker, good elbow, she's accurate, but she's like one-dimensional defensive. She's like one-dimensional, defensively weak specialist against grapplers. She's 38 years old, boys. She's 1 out of 4 in her last 5 fights. She has won 1 fight out of her last 5. Lost to Lucindo, Amanda Lemos, Jessica Andre. Struggles badly when controlling the mat. Decent submission defense, never submitted, but poor positional grappling. In my opinion, I'm just going to go with Gillian Robertson to win, likely by decision. Expect Robertson to hit takedowns and grind control time, boys. Moving on to Azamat Bekoev versus Ryan Loder. Look, Azamat, solid wrestling base, but also a tactical boxer. Good pressure defensively. Good pressure, but he's also defensively sound. That's what I meant to say. He actually blocks shots well too. He's very good at defending them. Can grapple effectively and possibly win some exchanges on the mat. Can land heavy shots in the boxing range, and as you know, he has actual good, strong clinch game. He's likely to take the fight to the ground and just control Loder. Might mix it up and go for a submission or just ground and pound. You know, he's experienced with 22 professional fights. I see him winning by sub or ground and pound. You know, he also has strong cardio and an improved game recently with good finishing ability. Ryan Loder, look, strong American wrestling background, solid takedowns, good control, and ground and pound. You know, he's an okay fighter though, but doesn't thrive in the stand-up. He's like more of like a survivable style type of style on the stand-up. You know, has been struggling with the stand-up in his past fights. Doesn't have high level striking. Could be uncomfortable in the grappling exchange, especially against a strong submission threat like Bekoev. Still a solid fighter though, but he likes the strike and the submission defense to handle Bekoev effectively. Had issues actually defending against rear naked chokes, making him very vulnerable into the grappling situations. I'm just gonna go with Azamat Bekoev to win by finish. By finish. Most likely ground and pound or like a submission, like the rear naked choke or something like that. Bekoev has a striking edge and can out grapple Loder. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's my pick. Moving on to Yana Santos versus Miesha Tate. Look, Miesha Tate, 38 years old. You know, but she's still going. She still has strong wrestling and positional control. Dominant when she gets fights to the ground. Showed she could still hang against Caitlin Vieira despite the loss. You know, she's aggressive, but she's not technical. She's like gritty She has like a gritty fighting style, but it really does set up the takedowns, which is good. She's had a long layoff over a year, I believe. I hope I'm not correct, but look, that could mean she healed up. She's old, man. She probably needed this, and she's gonna come here and be better. Not better than her prime years, but she'll be better than what she was here a year ago. Look, but expect to embrace a grind heavy wrestling game plan to control Santos. I think this is just gonna be she's just gonna wrestle her. Okay, that's gonna be her game. It has to be her game plan to just wrestle. Yana Santos, on the other hand, she's a tactical boxer, good striker, but she's limited on the ground. That's gonna be a huge key. She's very limited on the ground. She wins over Chelsea Chandler, has 8. Her win over Chelsea Chandler has aged poorly. Chandler was killed by Jocelyn Edwards. She just struggles against wrestlers and grapplers. Losses to top strikers. No major improvement seen recently. Takedown defense is still questionable. Likely to get out work if she's put on her back repeatedly. I'm just going to go with Miesha Tate to win by decision on this one. Expect Tate to just use pressure, clinch work, and takedowns on top of top control to grind out this win. Moving on. Man, oh man. Look, Jeremy Stephens versus Mason Jones. Look, Mason Jones, 30 years old. He just re-signed to the... I'm pretty sure... Did he just re-sign to the UFC? Or... I think he just did. I don't remember exactly. But look, re-signed to the UFC after a solid rebuild outside of the UFC. He's in a 4-fight win streak since leaving the UFC, finishing 3 of those opponents. He's an aggressive brawler, loves the pocket exchanges, but has strong grappling too. Jeremy Stephens, 38 years old, making one of a one-off UFC return after fighting in bare knuckle and boxing. Basically lost 4 of his last freaking 5 MMA fights and lost in the PFL as well, boys. 3-fight win streak in bare knuckle boxing, but doesn't have, everybody knows it doesn't translate well to MMA. It's not the same, obviously, or even MMA, UFC in general. Has big power and extremely tough. 50 professional MMA fights under his belt. 50. So he's extremely experienced. His weakness though, grappling, defense, cardio, fading late, trouble against younger and faster fighters. Look, I'm gonna pick Mason Jones to win this. Expect Jones to either outwork Stephens in a wild roar, mixing the takedown control and just ground and pound. I feel like this is gonna be a great fight. I'm gonna go Mason Jones decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ground and pound TKO'd Stephens. But Stephens is still dangerous though. Yeah, moving on to Cameron. I can't open it up. Whoa, where are we going? Oh, I can't. I don't think I can open this one up. Oh wait, I can. Okay. Cameron Smotherman versus Sidey. I'm just gonna call him Sidey because I don't know how to say his first name. Serhiy. Yeah, I'm just gonna call him Sidey. I just said Sidey. Sidey. I'm just gonna call him Sidey. Sidey, tall, long bantamweight, 5'10", 74-inch reach. Well, actually, it says 5'11" here, 72-inch reach. Same thing. These stats are probably fake either way. They probably they boosted a little bit, which I actually have 74. It says 72 here, but don't worry about it, boys. It's the same thing. They probably have some stats again boosted here. Look, he's sharp, technical striker, uses teep kicks, straight shots. Oh shit, where are we going, boys? Jesus Christ. Straight shots, great body kicks, has tactical kickboxing style. He actually has 2 recent controversial scorecards, 1 win, 1 loss, but overall, solid performance. To be honest, he's likely to pick Smotherman apart at range with straight shots and body kicks. If needed, he could mix up the grappling to expose Smotherman's defensive holes. But look, man, Cameron Smotherman, heavy-handed boxer, fights well at close range with big meaty hooks. He's impressed massive. I'm impressed massively by I was impressed massively by UFC debut by upsetting Jake Haley. Even though Haley did take that fight on short notice. But yeah, Smotherman has shown, some defensive lapses too, knocked out badly by Charles Gregorio, who turned out not to be great in the Contender Series. Has dangerous blitzing style, but tends to dip forward with limited head movement. Might get picked off at range by Sidey. Straight punches and kick teeps. In conclusion, I'm going to pick Sidey to win. Expect Sidey to outstrike Smotherman from the outside using long kicks and straight shots. Smotherman has the puncher's stance. But Sidey will control the pace this fight. And yeah, Sidey by decision, boys. Moving on to Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcus. Look, Montel Jackson, he's long, tall southpaw, 5'10", 75-inch reach, major size advantage compared to the 5'7", 69-inch reach. You know, his fast hands, sharp boxing with a nasty straight left hand. Very good jab, good wrestling base, strong cage control. Drop Julio R's, KO'd Rani Yaya. I think I'm pronouncing that right, dude. Finished the Mon Blackshear in 18 seconds. Finished the Mon Blackshear in 18 seconds. Extremely precise with his punches, explosive hand speed. Wide stance, can be vulnerable though to calf kicks, but the matchup favors him as Marcus is orthodox. Dangerous when the opponents throw kicks, counters well with the straight shots, could dominate rounds with the striking to out wrestle and just to bank minutes if needed. You know what I mean? Seen more decision wins lately, but has the power to score a KO if Marcus' chin doesn't hold in the later rounds. Overall, more well-rounded experience and battle tested against better competition. Look, Daniel Marcus, undefeated at 17-0, but wins. You know, he has some questionable performances, man. Close split decision versus Davey Grant. Decision over Adrian Yanez. You know, he's a volume striker. He uses teep kicks, low kicks, body shots effectively. Typically an orthodox fighter facing a tricky southpaw with much longer reach. You know, he could struggle closing the distance against Jackson's length and fast, straight punches. Likes to work kicks, though. You know, but could just be countered while extending into Jackson's punching range. Tough, gritty, but has never faced someone as explosive or polished as Jackson. Limited proven power at the UFC level, mostly winning by decision recently. And yeah, I'm going to go with Montel Jackson. You know, the size, speed, power, wrestling should overall Daniel Marcus. Jackson likely wins a clear decision, but a last round KO isn't out of the question, in my opinion. Moving on to Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez. I can't believe, I think I pronounced that name correctly, which is absolutely amazing. You know, the man is 6 foot tall, 70-inch reach, strong hooks, heavy hands, likes to close distance and brawl, good pressure against the cage, solid chin, but you know, it has been cracked recently. Struggled with speed and sharpness against Carlson Harris. Needs to get inside and land power shots, but age and wear are showing because he is 38 years old, boys, if you guys remember. Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod, technical southpaw with clean straight jabs or straight punches and jab. Strong at range, good defensive boxing, solid head movement. Struggle with wrestlers like Kelvin Gastelum, the Fridge, but it's, you know, he's strong on the feet. He needs to avoid getting into a brawl, stay at range to avoid Ponzi's hooks. I think Daniel Rodriguez for the win. D-Rod is just cleaner, more technical striking. Should outpoint Ponzinibbio's at range, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna just go with D-Rod by decision. Moving on to Reinier the Ritter. I called him Reindeer the first time I saw him fight. Not the first time I saw him fight, but like his last fight that I uploaded a video. I called him like Reindeer Lane Deer or something when he fought Mr. 4570. Look, Bo Nickal. The man is an elite level wrestler. He's a world-class athlete, fast. He's sharp. His boxing is improving each fight. Very good anti-wrestling, unlikely to be taken down. You know, he's patient, striking style. You saw it on the Paul Gregg fight. Controls where the fight happens. Better hands than the Ritter for sure. Reinier, I'm just going to call him Ritter. Ritter, you know, tall, strong grappler, 6'4", 78-inch reach, excellent jiu-jitsu, dangerous if he gets top position, very upright, slow striking, and chin is often high. Will try to clinch or pull guard to create a grappling chances. Struggle on the feet versus Gerald Mearchart. Chin showed his chin showed vulnerability there. You know, I feel like this is just an easy win for Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal's takedown defense should shut down the Ritter's grappling. Expect Bo to just outstrike the Ritter cleanly and with just sharper boxing, man. Yeah, Bo Nickal by decision. Moving on to the main event of the evening. Introducing first, Cory Sandhagen, man. Look, Dr. Cory Sandhagen. Tall, rangy striker with elite distance management, sharp technical kickboxing and slick movement, improved wrestling and clinch game. You know, the man is smart, high fight IQ, holy glaze. You know, he has a big size advantage, 5'11", compared to the 5'5". Can you help me to say that? 5'11" to 5'5". Yo, I'm not talking shit to my short kings, but I'm just saying, you know, like, it's a big size advantage, boys. Good chin, very hard to catch clean. Deiveson Figueiredo, look, heavy-handed boxer with strong calf kicks, good takedown defense, and solid grappling. Dangerous when he's able to close the distance and throw heavy combos. 37 years old, giving up a lot of size and range on this fight. Best when he's fighting in tight boxing range. In my opinion, Jesus Christ, Cory Sandhagen is just gonna 5-0 him. It's gonna be a 4-0 or a 5-0. Okay, boys. Cory Sandhagen by unanimous decision. Sandhagen should pick Figgy apart at range and move well. Figgy's best shot is to land a big punch when he closes the distance, but just expect Sandhagen to control the tempo, land cleaner and sharper shots. And that's gonna be it for my prediction of each fight of UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Figueiredo. Look, before you leave, man, if you haven't liked or subscribed yet, please do it. It really does help the channel out. You know, I'm a small channel, so, you know, even the comments are appreciated. It really does help out a lot. Just let me know who are you going to go with for the main events in the comment section. And yeah, with that being said, don't forget to be there on Saturday for me to be your fight companion. Don't forget to be there. Yeah, but with that being said, I'll see everyone very, very soon. Goodbye.